Ladies and gentlemen, there are things about you that you may not even realize stand out. Things that, without a word, communicate who you are, your confidence, and your character. Women often believe that men only notice the obvious looks, fashion, or the way they carry themselves. But let me tell you today that is far from the truth. Men notice the small, seemingly insignificant details. These details shape how they see you, how they respect you, and even how they decide to invest in you emotionally. So let's talk about 10 things women have no idea men notice about them. Men notice things about women that go far beyond the obvious. Many women believe that men focus solely on appearance, the way they dress, the way they do their hair, or the way they carry themselves physically. While these things may catch a man's eye initially, they are not what truly hold his attention. A man who is truly interested in a woman, whether as a friend, a partner, or even in a professional setting, is paying attention to far more than just the surface. He is watching, listening, and observing the details that reveal who she really is. One of the first things men notice about a woman is her energy. Before she even speaks, before she even makes eye contact, her energy has already introduced her. This is something that many women underestimate. Energy is not just about mood, it is about presence. It is about the aura you bring into a room. Some women enter a space with warmth, with confidence, with an energy that is inviting and magnetic. Others walk in with hesitation, insecurity, or even a guarded attitude that subtly pushes people away. A man, whether consciously or subconsciously, picks up on this instantly. A confident woman carries an energy that tells the world she knows who she is. She does not need constant validation, nor does she feel the need to shrink herself to fit into someone else's expectations. She walks with purpose, she engages with people genuinely, and she maintains a level of self-respect that is undeniable. A woman's energy is a reflection of how she feels about herself. When a woman is secure, happy, and at peace with herself, it radiates from her. Men are drawn to this because confidence is attractive in any setting, whether romantic, social, or professional. But confidence is not about arrogance. It is not about walking into a room expecting attention or demanding to be the center of focus. Confidence is quiet, self-assured, and natural. It is in the way she carries herself, the way she speaks, and even in the way she listens. A woman who is confident does not seek approval in every interaction. Instead, she moves through life knowing that she is enough. Men also notice the way a woman interacts with those around her. They pay attention to how she treats people, especially those who can do nothing for her. Does she show kindness to a stranger? Does she acknowledge people with respect regardless of their status? Or does she only extend warmth when she is in the presence of someone she wants to impress? A woman's true nature is revealed in her smallest interactions. A man will observe how she speaks to a waiter at a restaurant, how she treats a cashier at a store, or how she reacts when someone inconveniences her. These moments say more about a person's character than any grand gesture ever could. When a woman carries herself with kindness and respect, it speaks volumes. Another thing men notice is how a woman responds to challenges. Life is unpredictable and everyone faces moments of stress, disappointment, and setbacks. A man pays close attention to how a woman handles these situations. Does she crumble under pressure? Does she allow small inconveniences to ruin her entire day? Or does she face difficulties with grace and resilience? Strength is attractive, and men admire women who can navigate life's challenges without falling apart at every obstacle. This does not mean that a woman has to be emotionless or pretend that things do not affect her. It simply means that she has emotional intelligence and self-awareness. She does not let temporary problems shake her sense of self-worth. Men also notice a woman's sense of self-respect and boundaries. In a world that constantly pressures women to conform, to be overly accommodating, or to please everyone around them, a woman who confidently sets boundaries stands out. A man respects a woman who knows her worth, who does not allow people to take advantage of her, and who is not afraid to say no when necessary. This level of self-respect is evident in the way she carries herself, in the way she communicates, and in the decisions she makes. She does not need to be aggressive or unkind, but she is firm in what she stands for. What many women do not realize is that men notice more than just actions, they also notice patterns. A man who is paying attention sees consistency. He sees whether a woman truly embodies the values she claims to have, or if she only portrays them when convenient. Authenticity matters. A woman who is genuine, who remains true to herself regardless of who is watching, earns a different level of respect. Men are naturally drawn to women who are real, who do not pretend to be something they are not, and who embrace their individuality. There is nothing more attractive than a woman who is comfortable in her own skin. Beyond all of this, a man notices how a woman makes him feel. People remember emotions more than words, more than appearances, more than actions. When a woman leaves a lasting impact, it is often because of the way she made someone feel in her presence. Did she inspire? Did she uplift? Did she challenge him to think differently? Did she bring peace, excitement, or a sense of security? The feeling a man associates with a woman is what truly stays with him. At the end of the day, it is the little things that matter most. The way you walk into a room, the way you treat people, the way you carry yourself with quiet confidence. You may think that men only notice what is on the surface, but the truth is they are watching the details. The details tell the real story. So if you want to leave an impact, focus on who you are, not just how you appear. Because the right people will not just see you, they will truly notice you. How you treat others is one of the most revealing aspects of your character, and men notice this far more than you might think. It's easy to be kind when everything is going well, when you're in a good mood, or when you're interacting with people who can offer you something in return. But the true test of character is how you treat those who have nothing to give you. A man who is observant watches how you treat the people. Society often overlooks the waiter who brings your food, the cashier at the store, the janitor at the office, or even a stranger who might need a simple act of kindness. He pays attention to your words, your tone, and your body language. There is something deeply revealing about how a person interacts with those who serve them. A woman who treats everyone with kindness and respect, regardless of status, is someone who carries true grace and integrity. Men are drawn to this not just because kindness is attractive, but because it signals emotional maturity. A man who is looking for something real isn't just interested in how you treat him. He is paying close attention to how you treat the world. If you are warm, compassionate, and respectful to everyone, that tells him that your kindness is genuine and not just something you put on when you want something in return. On the other hand, if you are dismissive, impatient, or rude to those you think don't matter, it sends a clear message that your kindness has limits, that it is selective, and that it might disappear when things don't go your way. Men also notice how you handle disagreements and difficult conversations. Do you belittle others when they have a different opinion? Do you talk over people or dismiss their thoughts? Or do you listen with patience even when you don't agree? A woman who can hold a conversation with respect, even in moments of disagreement, is someone who commands true admiration. Emotional intelligence is rare. And when a man sees it in a woman, it sets her apart. A woman who understands that respect is not just about being polite when it's easy, but about maintaining dignity and composure, even in moments of frustration, is someone who stands out. It's not just about how you treat strangers, though. Men notice how you treat your friends, your family, and even yourself. Do you speak about others with kindness? Or do you constantly gossip and tear people down? A man is listening when you talk about others. If you are always criticizing, complaining, or speaking negatively, he knows that eventually that energy will be directed toward him as well. On the other hand, a woman who uplifts others, who speaks with kindness even when the person isn't in the room, is a woman who carries a rare and beautiful strength. How you treat yourself is just as important. A man notices if you respect your own time, your own needs, and your own well-being. Do you take care of yourself emotionally, mentally, and physically? Or do you constantly put yourself last, always seeking validation from others while neglecting your own happiness? A man who is serious about you will pay attention to whether you set healthy boundaries, whether you take time for self-care, and whether you carry yourself with the dignity of someone who knows their worth. If you allow yourself to be treated poorly by others, if you tolerate disrespect or settle for less than you deserve, he will notice that too. And the way you treat yourself often sets the standard for how others, including men, will treat you. Men also notice how you handle social situations. Are you the kind of person who makes others feel included, who smiles and makes people feel welcome? Or do you create an atmosphere of tension and exclusion? A woman who carries a warm presence, who can make others feel comfortable and valued, is someone who naturally draws people in. Men admire women who have the ability to uplift a room simply by being in it. It's not about being the loudest or the most outgoing. It's about bringing an energy that makes people feel good in your presence. Another thing men notice is your level of gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most attractive qualities in a person because it reflects perspective and emotional depth. A woman who appreciates the little things, who says thank you, and who acknowledges kindness when it's given, is someone who leaves a lasting impression. On the other hand, a woman who takes things for granted, who expects rather than appreciates, or who never acknowledges effort, can come across as entitled. A man who pays attention will notice if you are someone who values what you have, or if you are always focused on what you don't. At the end of the day, how you treat others is not just about them, it's a reflection of you. It reveals your values, your emotional intelligence, and your level of self-respect. Men who are looking for something meaningful are not just observing what you say about yourself. They are watching how you show up in the world. They notice whether your kindness is consistent, whether your respect is authentic, and whether your character remains the same, even when no one is watching. And that, more than anything else, is what sets you apart. Your energy speaks before you even say a word. And men notice this far more than you might realize. Every person carries a certain energy, a presence that fills a room when they walk in. It's not just about physical appearance, it's about the way you carry yourself, the confidence in your step, the way you engage with others, and the aura of either positivity or negativity that surrounds you. A man who is observant doesn't just look at you, he feels your presence, and that presence can either draw him in or push him away. Confidence is one of the most powerful energies you can exude. A woman who walks into a room with self-assurance, who holds her head high and moves with purpose, is someone who instantly commands attention. She doesn't have to be the loudest or the most outgoing, but there is something about the way she exists that makes people take notice. It's the way she maintains eye contact, the way she speaks with clarity, the way she doesn't shrink herself to make others comfortable. Confidence is magnetic because it signals self-respect and certainty in who you are. A man is naturally drawn to a woman who knows her worth and doesn't seek constant validation to feel secure. But just as confidence is attractive, insecurity is noticeable too. If you carry yourself with self-doubt, if you constantly second-guess yourself or rely on others to reassure you of your value, it changes your energy. A man can sense when a woman is unsure of herself, when she is afraid to take up space, when she dims her own light out of fear of being judged. There is a difference between humility and self-doubt. Humility is knowing your worth but choosing to remain grounded. Self-doubt is questioning your worth altogether. When a woman is confident in herself, it allows the man to feel at ease in her presence. Insecurity, on the other hand, creates tension. It makes interactions feel heavy, like something is always missing. Your energy is also reflected in the way you handle life's challenges. Do you carry a mindset of resilience, or do you crumble under pressure? A man notices how you respond to setbacks, how you deal with stress, and whether you let circumstances define your mood. A woman with strong energy doesn't let small inconveniences ruin her entire day. She doesn't react emotionally to every little problem. Instead, she approaches life with a sense of calm and control. She understands that challenges are a part of life, and she faces them with a steady mindset. That kind of energy is reassuring to a man because it signals emotional strength, and emotional strength is rare. Men are also drawn to women who bring positive energy into their interactions. This doesn't mean you have to be overly cheerful all the time, but it does mean that your general outlook on life matters. Do you approach life with gratitude, with a sense of possibility, with an openness to joy? Or are you constantly complaining, always focusing on what's wrong, always seeing the negative side of things? A man notices whether you bring light into conversations or whether you drain the energy from the room with negativity. A woman who radiates positivity, who can find joy in small things, who can laugh easily and appreciate life, is someone people naturally want to be around. Your energy is also reflected in the way you treat yourself. A man notices if you carry yourself with care, if you invest in your own well-being, if you prioritize your own growth. A woman who takes care of herself, who nurtures her mind, body, and spirit, is someone who carries an energy of self-respect. She doesn't neglect herself for the sake of others. She understands that in order to give to the world, she must first be whole herself. When a man sees that you take time for self-care, that you set boundaries, that you engage in activities that bring you fulfillment, it tells him that you have a strong relationship with yourself. But just as positive energy is attractive, negative energy is repelling. A man notices if you are constantly surrounded by drama, if you are always caught up in conflicts, if your life seems to be in a constant state of chaos. Drama creates an exhausting energy, one that makes people feel drained just by being around it. A woman who is always involved in conflicts, who holds on to resentment, who thrives on gossip and negativity, is someone who carries an energy that pushes people away. A man who values peace will be drawn to a woman who also values peace, who knows how to maintain harmony in her life. A woman's energy also speaks through her level of self-awareness. Do you take responsibility for your actions, or do you always blame others? Do you reflect on your growth, or do you remain stagnant in the same patterns? A man notices when a woman is emotionally mature enough to recognize her own flaws and work on them. Self-awareness creates a sense of depth. And depth is attractive because it means a person is always evolving, always striving to be better. Ultimately, your energy is something you cultivate from within. It's not about being perfect, and it's not about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about carrying yourself with confidence, resilience, and a mindset of growth. A man who is truly paying attention isn't just noticing what you wear or how you look. He is noticing the energy you bring into the spaces you enter. And that energy, more than anything, is what leaves a lasting impression. The way you treat others says a lot about who you are, and men notice this more than you might think. It's easy to focus on how you interact with someone you're interested in. But the real test of character is how you treat people when there's nothing to gain. A man who pays attention will observe how you talk to the waiter at a restaurant, how you speak to a customer service representative, how you interact with strangers. Are you patient, kind, and respectful, or are you dismissive and entitled? These small moments reveal a lot about your true nature. When a man watches how you treat others, he's not just looking for surface-level politeness. He's noticing if you genuinely respect people regardless of their status. Are you the kind of person who greets people warmly, who makes eye contact, who expresses gratitude? Or do you treat people differently based on what they can do for you? A woman who is consistently kind to everyone around her stands out because kindness is a reflection of inner strength. It's easy to be kind when everything is going well, but the real test is how you act when you're stressed, frustrated, or inconvenienced. Your attitude toward others also extends to the way you talk about people when they're not around. A man will notice if you constantly gossip, if you speak negatively about your friends, if you find pleasure in tearing others down. The way you talk about people in private is just as revealing as the way you treat them in person. A woman who uplifts others, who avoids unnecessary drama, who speaks with integrity, is someone who carries an energy of positivity. On the other hand, a woman who is always criticizing, always complaining, always finding fault in others, creates an atmosphere of negativity that can be draining. Men also pay attention to how you handle conflict. Do you approach disagreements with maturity, or do you resort to passive aggressiveness and manipulation? A man who is looking for something meaningful will notice if you are capable of having difficult conversations with honesty and grace. Conflict is inevitable in any relationship, and how you handle it speaks volumes about your emotional intelligence. Are you willing to listen, to understand, to find common ground, or do you shut down, lash out, or hold grudges? A woman who can express her feelings without unnecessary drama, who can communicate her needs while also respecting the other person's perspective, is someone who commands deep respect. Another thing men notice is whether you're supportive of the people around you. Are you genuinely happy for others when they succeed, or do you secretly feel envious? A man will observe if you celebrate your friends' achievements, if you offer encouragement, if you lift others up. True confidence is not threatened by the success of others. A woman who can clap for others, who can recognize the beauty and accomplishments in those around her without feeling insecure, is someone who radiates an energy of abundance. But if a woman is constantly comparing, constantly competing, constantly feeling like she has to outshine others, it creates a sense of tension that is impossible to ignore. A man will also notice how you handle small gestures of kindness. Do you say thank you when someone holds the door open for you? Do you acknowledge when someone goes out of their way to help you? Gratitude is a powerful trait, and a woman who appreciates the little things in life is someone who naturally attracts good energy. It's not about expecting grand gestures or extravagant displays. It's about recognizing the value in everyday kindness and responding with appreciation. Beyond kindness and gratitude, men notice how you handle responsibility. Are you someone who follows through on your commitments? Do you do what you say you're going to do? Reliability is an underrated quality, but it makes a significant difference in how people perceive you. A woman who is dependable, who shows up when she says she will, who takes responsibility for her actions, is someone who earns deep respect. On the other hand, if a woman is constantly canceling plans, making excuses, or shifting blame onto others, it signals a lack of accountability. Your relationship with your family and friends also speaks volumes. A man will observe how you talk about your family, how you prioritize your relationships, and whether you value meaningful connections. It's not about having a perfect family or an ideal social life. It's about how you navigate those relationships. Do you hold on to resentment, or do you work through issues with grace? Do you value deep connections, or do you keep people at a distance? The way you treat those closest to you often reflects how you will treat a romantic partner in the long run. At the end of the day, the way you treat others is a direct reflection of how you feel about yourself. A woman who is secure in who she is doesn't need to put others down to feel better. She doesn't seek validation through superiority. She knows that kindness, respect, and integrity are not just qualities to display when it's convenient, but a way of life. A man who is truly paying attention will notice these things, and they will leave a lasting impression. The way you carry yourself in moments of difficulty speaks volumes, and men notice it more than you might think. Life is unpredictable, and how you handle challenges, setbacks, and frustrations reveals a lot about your strength and emotional intelligence. A man who is paying attention will observe how you react when things don't go as planned. Do you let frustration consume you? Do you give up easily? Or do you take a deep breath, adapt, and push forward? A woman who can navigate difficulties with grace and resilience stands out because she demonstrates inner strength that goes beyond surface level beauty. When you face an obstacle, whether it's a career challenge, a personal disappointment, or an unexpected setback, a man will notice if you handle it with poise or if you let it break you down completely. This doesn't mean you can't have emotions. It's natural to feel frustrated, upset, or even discouraged at times. But how you choose to respond in those moments is what truly matters. Do you dwell on negativity, constantly complaining about how unfair life is? Or do you focus on solutions, finding a way to move forward despite the challenge? A man who is looking for something meaningful in a relationship will be drawn to a woman who can face adversity with courage and wisdom. Your ability to handle stress is another thing that doesn't go unnoticed. Life comes with responsibilities, deadlines, and unexpected pressures. A man will observe how you respond when things become overwhelming. Do you allow stress to dictate your mood and your interactions with others? Do you snap at people, become distant, or spiral into negativity? Or do you find ways to manage your stress in a healthy and productive way? A woman who can remain calm and composed under pressure is someone who radiates a sense of stability. It doesn't mean she doesn't feel stress, but she understands the importance of managing it in a way that doesn't negatively impact those around her. How you handle failure is also something men notice. Do you see failure as the end, or do you use it as a stepping stone to grow? A woman who understands that failure is a part of life and an opportunity to learn is someone who exudes confidence and resilience. When you talk about your past mistakes, do you speak with bitterness? Or do you share the lessons you've gained? A man will respect a woman who takes accountability, who doesn't make excuses, and who continues to move forward despite challenges. Men also notice how you react to difficult people. Life is full of personalities, some easy to get along with, others challenging. How you handle conflict with difficult people says a lot about your maturity and patience. Do you allow yourself to be easily provoked, engaging in unnecessary arguments and drama? Or do you rise above, choosing to protect your peace instead of being drawn into negativity? A woman who can maintain her dignity in the face of conflict is someone who commands deep respect. She knows when to stand her ground, but she also knows when to walk away from situations that do not serve her. Another thing men notice is how you handle personal growth. Are you the type of person who actively works on becoming better? Or do you remain stagnant? A man will observe if you're constantly seeking to improve yourself, whether it's through learning, developing new skills, or working on your mindset. Growth isn't just about achieving external success. It's about evolving as a person, learning from experiences, and striving to be the best version of yourself. A woman who embraces personal growth is attractive because she shows a deep level of self-awareness. She doesn't settle for mediocrity. She strives for excellence in all areas of her life. Your ability to support others during tough times is another quality men notice. Are you someone who offers encouragement and strength when someone close to you is struggling? Or do you distance yourself when things get difficult? A man will observe how you show up for your friends, family, and even for him during tough times. Are you a source of encouragement, reminding people of their strengths? Or do you focus only on your own struggles without considering those around you? A woman who can provide emotional support without losing herself in the process is someone who brings a sense of security and warmth to a relationship. How you view yourself in difficult times also matters. A man will notice if you speak negatively about yourself when things go wrong. Do you constantly criticize yourself, saying things like, "I'm not good enough," or "I always mess things up"? Or do you recognize that setbacks don't define you? A woman who practices self-compassion, who speaks to herself with kindness, and who maintains confidence even in tough times is someone who commands respect. She understands that failure, challenges, and struggles are just a part of life. They do not determine her worth. At the end of the day, the way you handle adversity, stress, and challenges reveals the depth of your character. A woman who navigates life's difficulties with strength, wisdom, and grace is someone who leaves a lasting impression. A man who truly values a deep connection will take notice of these qualities because they show not just who you are in the good times, but who you are when things get tough. And that ultimately is what defines real strength. The way you treat strangers, especially those who can do nothing for you, reveals more about your character than words ever could. Men notice how you interact with people outside of your immediate circle, whether it's a waiter at a restaurant, a cashier at the grocery store, or someone asking for directions on the street. These small, seemingly insignificant moments say a lot about who you truly are when no one is watching. When a man observes a woman treating strangers with kindness, patience, and respect, it tells him she possesses a genuine and warm heart. It's easy to be kind to friends, family, or people who can offer you something in return. But how you act toward those who have no influence on your life shows your true nature. Are you someone who acknowledges others with a smile, or do you walk past them without a second thought? Do you speak to service workers with courtesy, or do you see them as background characters in your day? These things don't go unnoticed. Men also pay attention to how you handle situations when things don't go your way. Imagine you're at a restaurant and your order is wrong. Do you become impatient, speaking rudely to the server as if they are beneath you? Or do you handle it with grace, understanding that mistakes happen? A woman who maintains her composure and treats people with dignity, even in frustrating situations, leaves a lasting impression. It's not just about the moment, it's about what it says about your ability to handle life's unexpected inconveniences. Another thing that men notice is how you respond to people who are struggling. Do you show compassion when someone is having a hard time, or do you look away, uncomfortable and uninterested? It doesn't mean you have to fix everyone's problems, but a simple act of kindness, like offering a listening ear or expressing empathy, can speak volumes about your character. A man who is paying attention will see whether you are someone who uplifts others or someone who only focuses on themselves. Your level of patience is another thing that stands out. Do you get frustrated easily when a stranger takes too long in line at the store? Do you honk impatiently in traffic, letting minor inconveniences ruin your mood? A woman who can navigate life with patience and understanding rather than irritation and entitlement is someone who exudes emotional maturity. Life is filled with delays, mistakes, and imperfections, and how you respond to them tells a man a lot about what it would be like to share a life with you. The way you handle conversations with strangers is also important. Are you someone who only speaks when necessary, avoiding eye contact and keeping interactions as short as possible? Or do you take the time to genuinely acknowledge people? A simple thank you or a kind word to someone who looks like they're having a rough day can make a big difference. A man will notice if you bring warmth into a room, if you make people feel seen and appreciated, or if you come across as cold and distant. One of the most powerful indicators of character is how you treat those who have nothing to offer you. Do you show the same level of respect to a janitor as you would to a CEO? Do you greet the security guard the same way you would greet an important guest? A woman who treats everyone with kindness, regardless of their status, wealth, or influence, is someone who commands deep respect. It shows that she values people not for what they can give her, but for who they are. A man will also notice how you react to people who are different from you. Whether it's someone from another culture, background, or way of life, do you approach them with an open mind or do you judge them quickly? The ability to embrace diversity and show respect to all people, regardless of differences, is a sign of emotional intelligence. A woman who is open-minded, who listens before making assumptions, and who treats everyone with fairness is someone who stands out in a world where judgment and criticism are common. Another crucial thing men notice is whether you practice gratitude in your interactions with others. Do you say thank you when someone holds the door open for you, or do you walk through as if it's expected? Do you appreciate the small efforts people make, or do you overlook them? A woman who expresses gratitude, even in the smallest moments, shows that she doesn't take people for granted. Gratitude is a sign of humility and emotional awareness, and men who seek depth in a partner are drawn to women who recognize and appreciate the good in others. Men notice whether you carry a sense of entitlement or whether you embody humility. Do you expect special treatment everywhere you go, believing the world owes you something? Or do you approach life with a sense of appreciation and understanding? A woman who remains humble, who treats people with kindness regardless of their role in her life, and who carries herself with grace leaves an impression that goes beyond physical beauty. She stands out because true beauty is not just an appearance, it's in the way she makes others feel. Men notice how you handle challenges, setbacks, and disappointments, not just in the big moments of life, but in the small, everyday struggles. It's easy to appear composed when everything is going well, but when things don't go according to plan, your true nature is revealed. A man who is paying attention observes whether you approach difficulties with resilience or whether you allow frustration and negativity to take over. How do you respond when plans change at the last minute? Do you become irritated and upset? Or do you adapt with a calm and flexible attitude? Life is unpredictable, and the ability to navigate uncertainty with grace is an attractive quality. A woman who can stay composed and optimistic even in difficult moments shows emotional strength, and men notice this more than you think. They pay attention to whether you see challenges as obstacles or as opportunities to grow. If you tend to complain, dwell on problems, or let small inconveniences ruin your day, it doesn't go unnoticed. On the other hand, if you keep a positive outlook and move forward with confidence, that energy is magnetic. Your emotional resilience in relationships is also something that stands out. Everyone experiences disappointments, whether it's a misunderstanding with a friend, a disagreement at work, or a failed plan. A man notices if you dwell on these moments, replaying them over and over in your mind, or if you learn from them and move forward. A woman who can process her emotions, acknowledge setbacks, and still carry herself with dignity and strength is someone who commands deep respect. Emotional maturity is not about ignoring feelings, but about handling them in a way that doesn't allow negativity to control your actions. Men also take note of how you speak about your past experiences. Do you constantly bring up old wounds, talking about how others have wronged you? Do you view yourself as a victim of circumstances, or do you take responsibility for your life and your growth? A man who values emotional intelligence is drawn to a woman who acknowledges her past, but doesn't allow it to define her. He notices if you carry resentment or if you've made peace with what has happened and have moved forward. The way you talk about past relationships, friendships, and work experiences says a lot about your mindset. If you always focus on the negative, complaining about what went wrong, it reveals that you may still be holding on to emotional baggage. But if you speak with wisdom, taking lessons from your past without bitterness, it shows strength and emotional stability. Another thing men notice is whether you let emotions control your reactions. Everyone gets upset from time to time, but how you handle those emotions is key. Do you lash out in anger, say things you don't mean, or let frustration dictate your behavior? Or do you take a step back, process your emotions, and respond with thoughtfulness? A woman who can manage her emotions without letting them take over commands respect. It doesn't mean suppressing feelings, it means being aware of them and choosing how to express them in a way that fosters understanding rather than conflict. Men also observe how you handle rejection and criticism. Life will always present moments where things don't go your way, where someone disagrees with you, or where you receive feedback that isn't what you wanted to hear. Do you take criticism personally, becoming defensive and shutting down, or do you use it as an opportunity to grow? A woman who can accept feedback with grace, who doesn't crumble at the first sign of rejection, is someone who shows strength. It's easy to be confident when everything is going well, but real confidence is shown when things don't go as expected. Another thing men notice is whether you allow setbacks to define you. Do you stay stuck in the past, constantly reliving mistakes, or do you take what you've learned and keep moving forward? A man who is looking for a strong, emotionally intelligent woman will observe how you pick yourself up after failure. Everyone stumbles, but the way you rise again speaks volumes about your character. A woman who can stand tall, even after disappointment, shows resilience. Men also notice whether you rely on external validation to feel good about yourself. Do you need constant reassurance from others, or do you have an inner confidence that isn't easily shaken? A woman who is secure in herself, who doesn't need approval from others to feel worthy, carries an energy that is incredibly attractive. Confidence is not about arrogance, it's about knowing your value without needing constant affirmation. When you believe in yourself, when you trust your abilities and your worth, it naturally draws people in. A man notices when you stand strong in who you are, even when the world challenges you. Another key thing men notice is whether you have control over your mindset. Do you allow negative thoughts to consume you, or do you actively work to maintain a positive and productive outlook? Everyone has moments of doubt, but a woman who can shift her mindset, who can reframe struggles as opportunities, shows emotional intelligence. Men are drawn to women who choose to focus on solutions rather than dwelling on problems. A woman who constantly complains, blames others, or self as a victim of circumstances repels those who seek a strong and uplifting partner. On the other hand, a woman who takes responsibility for her emotions, who consciously works to grow and improve, is someone who stands out. Finally, men notice whether you are able to maintain emotional balance in stressful situations. Life will always bring moments of tension, whether it's a demanding workday, a disagreement with a friend, or an unexpected challenge. Do you allow stress to consume you, or do you handle it with grace? A man notices if you can stay composed under pressure, if you can navigate stress without letting it take over your mood. A woman who can remain calm, even in difficult moments, brings a sense of stability that is incredibly valuable. Emotional strength is not about pretending to be unaffected by life's difficulties, it's about how you respond to them. Men notice whether you allow struggles to break you or whether you use them to become stronger. They see whether you let emotions control you or whether you have the wisdom to guide them. They notice whether you dwell in negativity or whether you choose to rise above it. A woman who carries herself with emotional resilience, who remains confident even when things don't go her way, and who navigates life with grace and strength is someone who leaves a lasting impression. Men notice how you treat people, not just those who can offer you something, but also those who have nothing to give in return. How you interact with a stranger, a waiter at a restaurant, a cashier at the grocery store, or even someone in need on the street speaks volumes about your character. It's easy to be kind and gracious when you're dealing with someone who is important to you, but how you behave toward those who hold no power over you is where your true nature is revealed. A man who is paying attention watches whether you show respect to everyone regardless of their status. He sees if you acknowledge people with warmth or if you dismiss them as unimportant. A woman who treats everyone with kindness and humility stands out because it shows that her character is consistent. Men notice if you say please and thank you, if you look people in the eye when you speak to them, and if you make others feel seen and valued. These small gestures may seem insignificant, but they reveal a great deal about your personality. It's not just about politeness, it's about how genuine you are in your interactions. Do you smile at people out of habit? Or do you genuinely care about those around you? Do you listen when someone speaks, or are you distracted, only half engaged in the conversation? A man who values depth in a relationship pays attention to whether you make people feel comfortable and appreciated. It's not about grand gestures, it's about the small, consistent actions that reveal your true essence. Men also notice how you handle conflict with others. Do you speak with patience and understanding, or do you let frustration dictate your words? How you respond to difficult conversations is something that leaves a lasting impression. If you handle disagreements with respect without belittling or dismissing others, it shows emotional intelligence. On the other hand, if you become rude, impatient, or condescending when things don't go your way, it reveals a lack of self-control. Another thing men notice is how you respond when someone makes a mistake. Are you quick to judge and criticize, or do you extend grace and understanding? No one is perfect and everyone makes errors. A woman who can correct someone without making them feel small, who can offer guidance without arrogance, demonstrates true wisdom. Men take note of whether you are harsh and unforgiving or whether you allow room for people to learn and grow. Men also pay attention to your energy in social settings. Are you someone who brings warmth and positivity into a room, or do you create tension and discomfort? A woman who radiates kindness, who makes people feel at ease, is naturally attractive. It's not about being the loudest or the most outgoing. It's about having an energy that invites connection. If you engage with people sincerely, if you show an interest in their stories and make them feel valued, it leaves a powerful impression. Beyond how you treat others, men also notice how you speak about them when they are not around. Do you speak with kindness? Or do you engage in gossip and negativity? If you constantly criticize or belittle others behind their backs, it signals that you might do the same to him when he's not around. A man observes whether you speak with respect, whether you uplift others even in their absence, or whether you indulge in tearing people down. The way you talk about friends, family, colleagues, and even strangers reflects your mindset and values. Men also take note of how you handle differences in opinion. Do you listen with an open mind, or do you dismiss perspectives that don't align with your own? A woman who can engage in thoughtful discussions without becoming defensive or disrespectful shows maturity. It's easy to get caught up in the need to be right. But men appreciate a woman who values understanding over winning an argument. The ability to agree to disagree, to respect another person's viewpoint, even if you don't share it, is a quality that stands out. Another aspect men notice is whether you show gratitude. Do you acknowledge the efforts of those around you? Do you express appreciation for the small things, or do you take them for granted? A woman who says thank you when someone does something kind, who recognizes the efforts of others, creates an atmosphere of warmth. Gratitude is a sign of emotional depth, and men are drawn to women who appreciate rather than expect. A man also notices if you are kind to yourself. Do you speak about yourself with respect, or do you constantly put yourself down? A woman who treats herself with kindness, who acknowledges her worth, sets the tone for how others will treat her. If you criticize yourself harshly, always focusing on your flaws, it creates an energy of insecurity. But if you carry yourself with self-acceptance, if you treat yourself with the same kindness you extend to others, it shows confidence and emotional strength. Finally, men notice if your kindness is genuine or if it is performative. Are you kind only when people are watching, or is it a natural part of who you are? True kindness is not about seeking approval, it's about treating people well because it aligns with your values. A woman who is kind when there's nothing to gain, who does good without seeking recognition, is someone who leaves a lasting impact. In the end, kindness is not just about being nice, it's about consistent sincerity and depth. It's about how you treat people when no one is watching. It's about the energy you bring into a room, the way you make people feel, and the grace with which you handle life's challenges. Men notice these things, even if they don't always say it. They see whether your kindness is surface level or if it is rooted in true character. They observe how you speak, how you listen, how you handle conflict, and how you treat those who can do nothing for you. The way you move through the world with kindness as your foundation speaks louder than words ever could. Men notice the way you carry yourself, not just in the way you walk or move, but in the energy you bring into a room. Confidence isn't about being the loudest or the most outspoken. It's about the quiet assurance in how you present yourself. A man pays attention to the way you sit, stand, and even how you engage with your surroundings. Are you comfortable in your own skin? Or do you shrink yourself in social situations? A woman who holds herself with grace and assurance, who walks with purpose and poise, naturally draws attention. It's not about arrogance, it's about having an inner stability that doesn't rely on external validation. A man notices the small details in your body language, the way you make eye contact, how you gesture when you speak, and even how you react when someone enters a room. Do you look people in the eye with warmth and sincerity, or do you glance away out of insecurity? Do you cross your arms and create a barrier between yourself and others, or do you open up and engage freely? These subtle cues reveal more than words ever could. When a woman is at ease with herself, it shows. She doesn't fidget nervously or constantly seek approval through her movements. She moves with a sense of certainty, and that quiet confidence is magnetic. Another thing men notice is whether you take care of yourself not just in terms of appearance, but in your overall well-being. Do you carry yourself with energy, or do you seem constantly drained? A woman who values herself takes care of her mind, body, and emotions. It's not about fitting into a societal standard of beauty, it's about self-respect. A man notices whether you nurture yourself, whether you prioritize your health, and whether you treat your body with care. A woman who moves with vitality, who walks with energy and engages with life fully, naturally stands out. Men also pay attention to how you handle yourself in conversations. Do you speak with confidence, or do you hesitate, second-guessing yourself? A woman who knows her worth doesn't need to dominate a conversation, but she also doesn't shy away from expressing her thoughts. She speaks with clarity, she listens with presence, and she engages with intention. A man notices if you speak with purpose or if you constantly downplay your own words. He notices if you allow others to interrupt you without standing your ground, or if you carry yourself with enough certainty to be heard without demanding attention. Your reactions in unexpected situations also reveal a great deal. A man notices how you handle moments of discomfort or surprise. Do you panic and lose control? Or do you remain composed? When you face a challenge, do you immediately doubt yourself, or do you take a moment to breathe and respond with thoughtfulness? Confidence isn't about knowing all the answers, it's about trusting yourself even when things don't go as planned. A woman who remains calm under pressure, who doesn't allow small inconveniences to shake her entire mood, is someone who stands out. Men also take note of how you treat yourself in your own words. Do you constantly put yourself down, making self-deprecating jokes to mask insecurities? Or do you speak about yourself with the same kindness you extend to others? A woman who carries herself with confidence doesn't have to be perfect, but she understands that the way she speaks about herself sets the tone for how others perceive her. If you talk about yourself with doubt, constantly undermining your abilities, it sends a message that you don't fully believe in yourself. But when you acknowledge your strengths, when you speak with self-respect, it communicates that you know your worth. A man also notices if your confidence is genuine or if it's something you put on as a mask. Some people project false confidence, being overly loud, dismissing others, or constantly trying to prove their worth. But real confidence doesn't seek validation, it simply exists. A woman who is truly secure doesn't need to be the center of attention, doesn't need constant reassurance, and doesn't need to prove anything. She moves through life with a quiet certainty that she is enough. Beyond how you carry yourself physically, men also observe how you carry yourself emotionally. Do you allow other people's opinions to dictate your self-worth, or do you remain grounded in who you are? A confident woman doesn't let one negative comment shake her entire self-image. She knows that her value isn't determined by what others think. She doesn't feel the need to constantly seek external approval because her sense of self comes from within. A man notices if you are secure in yourself or if you constantly need others to remind you of your worth. Men also take note of how you handle attention. Are you someone who constantly seeks validation from others, needing compliments and praise to feel good about yourself? Or do you accept attention with grace but don't rely on it? A woman who carries herself with confidence doesn't need external affirmation to feel beautiful, intelligent, or worthy. She appreciates kind words but doesn't depend on them. She knows who she is, and that assurance makes her presence compelling. At the end of the day, confidence isn't about perfection, it's about self-acceptance. It's about moving through the world with the understanding that you don't need to shrink yourself to fit in, nor do you need to exaggerate yourself to be noticed. A woman who carries herself with quiet confidence, who knows her worth without arrogance, and who navigates life with poise and self-respect naturally commands attention. Men notice this not because it's loud or demanding, but because it's rare. True confidence is a presence, a quiet power, and an unshakable belief in oneself that speaks louder than words ever could. Men notice more than you think, often picking up on details that might seem insignificant at first glance. It's not just about how you look, but how you move, how you speak, how you respond to different situations. There's an entire world of silent observation happening, and sometimes the things that stand out the most aren't the things you're intentionally trying to showcase. They notice the way you smile, not just when you're posing for a picture, but in those unguarded moments when something genuinely makes you happy. A real, authentic smile is different from the polite, forced ones you offer out of social obligation. A man notices when your joy is real, when it reaches your eyes, when it lights up your entire presence. That kind of smile has an energy, a warmth, and an honesty that makes it memorable. They also notice how you react when you're in an uncomfortable situation. Do you shift in your seat, sort of fidget, or avoid eye contact? Do you let nervousness take over? Or do you remain calm and composed? A man pays attention to how you carry yourself when you're under pressure because it says a lot about your confidence and self-assurance. It's not about always being perfect or unbothered, but about how you handle the unexpected. A woman who can navigate discomfort with grace and presence stands out because she shows resilience, self-awareness, and inner strength. Men take note of how you interact with the people around you, especially those who may not have anything to offer you. How do you treat the waiter at a restaurant? How do you respond to a stranger who asks for help? A woman's kindness or lack of it does not go unnoticed. It's easy to be pleasant when you're in a good mood or when you're around people you like. But how you treat others when no one's watching reveals the depth of your character. A man pays attention to whether your kindness is genuine or selective, whether your warmth is real or performative. The way you speak about people when they're not around also reveals a lot. Are you the kind of person who constantly criticizes others, who gossips or focuses on people's flaws? Or do you uplift, encourage, and see the good in others? A woman who speaks with positivity, who sees the best in people rather than the worst, carries an energy that is magnetic. They notice if you're truly present in a conversation or if you're just waiting for your turn to speak. Do you listen with intention? Do you make eye contact? Do you engage? Or are you distracted? Checking your phone, looking around the room, half-heartedly responding? A woman who is present, who listens with real attention, who engages with sincerity, creates a level of connection that is unforgettable. Men are drawn to women who make them feel heard, who create a space where conversation flows naturally, where they don't feel like they have to compete for attention. They notice how you carry yourself when you think no one is looking, the way you fix your hair, adjust your clothes, the way you walk when you're lost in thought. These unconscious movements often reveal more about you than the moments when you're aware of being observed. A woman who carries herself with confidence and ease even in these unguarded moments leaves a lasting impression. It's not about trying to be perfect, but about having an authentic presence, a way of moving through the world that is natural and assured. Men pay attention to how you respond to compliments. Do you accept them with grace? Or do you immediately dismiss them, brushing them off, downplaying yourself? A woman who can accept a kind word with a simple thank you shows self-assurance. It's not arrogance, it's an acknowledgement of worth. If you constantly deflect compliments, always rejecting them, or making excuses, it signals a level of self-doubt. A man notices whether you embrace your value or whether you shrink away from it. They notice your energy. Are you someone who brings light into a room? Or do you carry heaviness with you? Are you constantly complaining, focusing on what's wrong? Or do you radiate a sense of peace and optimism? Energy is felt before words are spoken. A woman who carries an air of positivity, who moves through life with a sense of purpose and gratitude, stands out because she makes others feel good in her presence. It's not about being fake or pretending that life is perfect, but about how you choose to frame your experiences, how you choose to navigate challenges, how you show up in the world. They notice whether you respect yourself. Do you set boundaries? Do you allow people to take advantage of you, or do you stand firm in your values? A woman who knows her worth doesn't need to announce it. She shows it through her actions. She doesn't entertain disrespect. She doesn't overextend herself to please others at the cost of her own well-being. And she doesn't settle for less than she deserves. Men notice when a woman has standards, when she values her time, when she knows how to say no without guilt. At the end of the day, it's not just about looks, fashion, or the surface level things that social media often magnifies. It's about the way you carry yourself in the world. The energy you bring into spaces, the way you treat others, and the level of self-respect you embody. Men notice the little things because those little things reveal who you truly are.